What's up, everybody? Back with another Roland AIRA, however you pronounce it, P6 video. And we're going to tackle a couple of things. So first off, I was given a recommendation. If some of you guys saw the last video, I loaded up my own samples onto the first bank of the machine, and I loaded samples of equal length and basically put 4 samples was the most that I put on one pad, and then I turned it on into chop mode, and using the chop mode and the keyboard, I was able to play each sample. So like on the first pad, I had a kick, a snare, a closed hi-hat, and an open hi-hat. I ran into an issue, that issue being that when I recorded the kick and the snare, everything was fine. And then I went to lay down the hi-hats, and when I loaded the open hi-hat, it was muting the kick. And I thought it was because of something with the polyphony, and it actually was. And one user said that I might have turned it into mono mode. And as soon as he said this, I remembered that I had turned on poly mode by holding shift and gate, and then I did go back to mono mode. So today we're going to adjust that and try that again. But the other thing is, someone asked me to show how I loaded up the samples using the P6 sample tool. So we're gonna first load up the samples, then we're going to record something, and I'm going to use that technique. Hopefully it won't be too long of a video. Give me a second here, because I'd like to give credit to the person who left me that comment. Let's see. You gotta go back here. And so this was from Colonel Panic. Colonel Panic, thank you for that tip. It immediately made me remember what I had done. And also thank you to Eternal, who's been dropping a bunch of nuggets on me. I got a comment from you saying that you've read the manual probably 4 times all the way through, so I might be leaning on you for some information. I need to read through the entire manual myself. I've gone through it, but I haven't just sat and actually tried to digest everything. But let's turn the camera to my laptop and let's do this. Okay, so before we start loading up the samples, it's important that we do this. We've got to turn this into storage mode so that it can work with the computer. So I'm going to hold down the sampling button, and now I'm going to turn on the machine. Let go. Sampling's blinking. Now I have this machine already plugged into my laptop, and now I've seen the P6 icon pop up on my laptop. So let me adjust the camera. There it is right there. It says P6. Okay, so this is the Roland P6 sample tool. Let me go in and show you guys what the icon looks like. This is the icon here. You're gonna want to go to Roland's site and just download this. I actually went to their site and searched P6 sample tool. And then now that the P6 is showing up here on the desktop, I'm just gonna go and select it in here and then hit connect. So now we're connected. I'm gonna go over to Bank B, and I'm just gonna get rid of them. I don't really care to keep any of these samples. So anybody who's been watching the channel for any good amount of time knows that I love these vinyl drum machines from Mars. This is my sample folder. It's basically just a duplicate of the samples I have on the card for my MPC One Plus. What big difference, right? All the samples you can hold on the MPC One Plus compared to what you can hold on a little machine like the P6. But the P6 is more about convenience and having a fun workflow. So I have all of the samples from Mars here. but I'm just going to go to Vinyl Drum Machines from Mars. And we're going to go to the waves. Let's check out the kits. So we got a 606. We got an 808 standard, 808 verb, 909 slug, a Lindrum. I used the Lindrum kit yesterday, so I won't do that again. LM1 standard kit. I could use that. That's a little bit different from the Lindrum. But let's do the 808 Verve kit. So, oh yeah, these are cool. These are awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is I'm using Logic for this because what we've got to do is we've got to create actual files. So see how I've made this P6 samples folder and this says Bank A. This is all the samples I used in the last video. I've just got it broken up like that just in case. So we're going to open Logic Pro. I'm going to open something new. And we're just going to create that. Doesn't have an input select, a source selected. It doesn't matter. So this is at 120 BPM. I'm going to drop it down to 90. And the reason I'm doing this is that I have to break up these samples evenly. So if I know that I usually work more in like 90 BPM area, and that's what I've been working in on the P6, then I just want to have my samples in a tempo that's either exactly what I'm going to use or close to it. So I'm going to try to be strategic here. The first thing that I'm going to select is a bass drum. So I'm going to use this Verb Hall bass drum. So I'm going to select it and drag it on over. Change project. We're going to convert file. Now that's definitely longer than what we're going to want to use. So we're going to have to end up cutting off some of that tail. And let me just break this down and figure out what's reasonable. I'd say about here is reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead and Command T and delete. And now that's completely reasonable for what I need. Now I got to go back and get the samples. And the next thing that I'll do is a snare drum. Okay, now this snare drum is considerably shorter than what we did for the kick. So that's not really a problem. All we have to do is leave the same amount of space here. But actually, I'm just going to cut off more of this tail because I really don't need it. And I can go in and edit the samples on the device if necessary. Cool. So I am going to eventually put a clap on, but just in case, the trick that I learned doesn't work, I'm not going to put that clap on the same pad. So right now I've got the kick and the snare. I don't want to put the hi-hats on the same. Let me see if there's anything else. I guess I could just export this. So I'm going to go ahead up here to Logic Pro. I'm going to hit File, and save. Actually, first, for when I export, I gotta drag this out to how long I want it. So these are just 2 samples, and that's an even amount of time. So I'm gonna go to File, I'm gonna go to Save As, and I'm going to go to, I'm gonna call this "808 kick snare for P6." And I'm gonna save this. Now, the last time that I did this, I didn't show it on screen, but I processed the samples. So I added, compression and saturation. But these are already processed since this is the Drum Machines from Mars kit. And I like the processing that Samples from Mars put on these. So I'm just going to go ahead over here to Bounce. And I'm going to go to Project or Selection. I did the last ones in 8-bit. I'll do these in 16. And actually, no, I kind of like that 8-bit sound. There's no reason to go up in fidelity for this. So I'm just going to bounce it. And I want it on my desktop, not the bounces folder. I don't really use the bounces folder. We're going to go to Bounce. And since it's such a small file, here it is right here. So I'm just going to make another folder inside of this folder, Bank B, and I'm going to open that up. I'm going to drag this in here. That's just for later. You don't have to handle your files the way that I do. You also don't have to use Logic Pro 10. That's just my DAW of choice. So the next thing that we do, we're going to bring this in to the sample editor here. And once I've brought it in, I'm going to hit normalize. And it's already normalized. So all I have to do now, I'm going to drag this on to B to 1 right there. And so now I've got that sample on here. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me do this for almost every pad in the machine. But what I will do is show you how you finish up now. So we're going to go to Transfer. And this process does get annoying. Transfer, transferring. So I've got to eject the P6. So I hit eject. And now the P6 icon is no longer on my desktop here. Let me bring the actual P6 into the picture now. And so now I've got to hit the keyboard button on the P6. So I hit keyboard. It's going to blink. And now it's done. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go through the rest of the process with the other drums that I want off camera because you've already seen what to do. And then I'll come back when it's time to make the song. Okay, so everything's sampled. And now I've got my pedal board out. I'm only using the HX Stomp. It's this patch. I'm gonna play that into the P6 using slide. And here's the samples, by the way. So here's the kick and snare. And here's the hi-hats and cowbell and stuff. And then on here, I've got some percussion stuff. And so I've cleared sample 6. And let me just pull this a bit closer. Okay, we got a little bit of hum from once, because I had to plug in the speaker, unfortunately. I try to get rid of it, but I can't. So bear with me. I think it has a little bit to do with the USB-C cable being plugged into the back, and it just got a ground loop or something, and I don't have a ground lift on the HX Stomp or the P6 or the Bluetooth speaker, so unfortunately it'll be here. Let's sample this. So I'm gonna hit the sampling button. Let's check the threshold. Well, first off, let's make it a free. And let's turn this to -12. And let's make it a mono sample. Let's lo-fi it. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's normalizing. Let's hear it. Alright, sounds good to me. I'm gonna turn off the HX Stomp. And I'm gonna move it out of here and see if it gets rid of that ground loop. So I'll be back. Okay, my assumption was correct. It was the pedal board that was causing the hum. Got rid of it, and now we're good. So here's our sample. And I'm gonna tweak the end point. There we go, that's the length that I want, so good. Turn this volume down. Okay, so now let's go ahead and chop these up. So we've got to go into the sample menu. So I'm going to select the first set of samples. There's only 2 samples on there. Shift. I go to the sample edit area and hit voice. And now I'm going to find chop. Hit enter. It's off. I want 2 chops. So now I exit, and now if I go into keyboard mode, I've got. Let's go do the same thing with the second samples. So there's 4. Shift, voice, chop, and I'm gonna select 4, exit, exit, and so we have 3 on the third. Shift, voice, chop, and hit 3, exit, exit, and so now we have actually going to shorten this sample more. I only want like those first two notes. All right. So we're going to start off with this bass that's on 4. And I didn't load this on. This is a sample that was already on here. Now the question is, let's go to shift, last, it's at 16. Let's just go to 64 like we did on the last one. Let's give ourselves some space. And let's exit. So now we've got we're gonna try that now. All right, here we go. We're good with that. Let's make sure that I'm on poly mode. Yeah, same with this one. Poly mode. Same with this one. Poly mode. Okay. So let's let's try that now. Okay, we got that. All right, let's do that. All right, so now I've got some claps somewhere. I'll freestyle it and figure something out. Let's try to add this too. So I'm not sure what happened to the third one of those samples, so I'm just not going to use it. But let's try to figure out a spot for this. If I can't figure out one, let's try it. We're good. I think I got something. Oops. Shift. Hit this pad. Pattern clear. Pad. Enter. Nope. Let's try it again. There we go. It always takes twice to work when you're clearing a pad in my experience. Let me practice that again. Let's see. Cool, it's not there. Kind of like it in that octave a little bit better, actually. So let's do it that way. Let's see. Kind of a happy accident. Let's see if I like it. It's weird. I don't know. I can do better. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay, here we go. Third time's the charm. This is going to be a long video, by the way. Oops. So I guess you have to have the metronome on in order to have a count in. So. All right, here we go again. I'm good with that. Let me see if this one's in poly as well. Okay. So purpose, but it just recorded what I put into it, which is kind of crazy. All right, let's go ahead and mess around with some effects because I'm all right with that. This is crazy. First thing that I'll mess with are these samples over here. So do I want to lo-fi them? Let's see. Yeah, I kind of like the lo-fi. All right, let's mess with the guitar now. Cool. Let's mess with the effects, meaning the delay and everything. So shift, mixer. Well, first off, let's auto pan it because I always auto pan guitars. We can do it at random. Cool. All right. Next thing to mess with is the delay and the reverb. I'm going to probably crap all over this. Yep, I like that. Let's mess with the reverb. Sounds weird and extra funky to me. Let's hear how that sounds. Those tails are sick. That's the first time I've ever done that. Let me save this because I actually like it. All enter, done. I'm gonna do it again just in case. Yeah, we're just gonna save all. Hit again, do it again. All right. this thing. So freaking amazing. I'm so happy with this. I've had a realization that since I've had the P-6, I haven't played nearly enough on the MPC One Plus, and that's something that I gotta fix, because I make most of my actual music that I plan on releasing and things like that on the MPC One Plus, and I just haven't touched it because this is so much fun. There's so much to learn. I enjoy learning new things, obviously, as you can tell from this channel and all the different samplers that I've been taking on as of late, and mixers and things like that with the Model 12. I like learning new things. And this thing is the gift that keeps on giving. It's cheap, it's small, it's battery powered. I'm glazing the crap out of it way too much. But if you thought that it wasn't worthwhile, which when mine arrived, I watched some videos and seen people in the comments like, who is this for? What is it for? It's for me. If you're like me, you're a guitarist, a multi-instrumentalist, somebody like that, you want to jot down ideas, you want to be musical all the time, you want to have something that you could just pull out and just go with, then go with it. This is probably going to be a long video, but that's okay. I'll probably leave it unedited as I've been with the last, because I had someone comment that they love watching the unedited videos and they're learning a lot from them. Man, you can't go wrong with this thing. So shout out for that recommendation to turn on poly. I did it. Nothing stepped on anything else. I did hit a little bit of a weird glitch with recording the guitar sample in the live recording function. If you notice, like, deleting stuff doesn't always work the first or even sometimes the second time you do it. But I'm guessing this thing, because this is a computer, I'm guessing it has a tiny little bit of RAM, probably not even a gig. And it's just struggling with all I'm throwing at it, because I had lo-fi processing on all three of these, multiple samples that are chopped. I got the effects going. I had some auto panning going. I'm guessing once you start messing with all of that, you start to exceed the capabilities of this thing as far as the memory goes. But there's workarounds. I got to play with resampling. I haven't even done that yet. I had a great time with that. I hope that the portion where I showed you how I manage the samples, how I chop them up in Logic, how it works. I made a mistake with the third sample. There were 4 samples on there, but only 3 of them fit because I exceeded the time limit. Those had the second, third, and fourth, I'm sorry, had longer tails. So I made the sample longer, and it was in 90 BPM. So I guess it exceeded the sample time limit. That's not that big of a deal. It's not like I needed those percussion samples. They were superfluous anyway. So all in all, I had fun with that one. I'm much happier with that one than the last jam. The one gripe I have is just this little tiny keyboard, but it's not even really a gripe. I do have a MIDI keyboard. I could hook it up. I do have the little mini MIDI adapter things. I just haven't had the need to do it because this thing's so great. I also love how I could affect the guitar, and I love just playing along to it. Just getting that play along. Companion where you could sit down for 20 minutes, or you could do it in less. You don't have to get as complicated as I started to get with the auto panning and going in and messing with the delay and reverb. I actually mangled that guitar sample, but I did it on purpose because I wanted to give it kind of like a, like a modern take on some of the like gothic stuff I like to listen to, some of the like Cabaret Voltaire type stuff where it's got kind of a hip hop style drum beat and bass and all that, and then you add some of the like post-punk style guitar and all that, Cocteau Twins vibe, a little bit of that. I wanted to do a little bit of that, so I completely mangled the guitar sample, but you don't have to do that. You can just sample straight into it and affect it, make it sound clean even. But yeah, thank you for watching that, and I'm kind of debating if I should make an MPC One Plus video next, or if I should just keep rolling with this. Why don't you let me know in the comments if you think I should make more with the P6 and just keep that rolling, or if I should, you know, periodically drop in some MPC One Plus content. Also, do you want me to make a video with this, dumping the P6 creations into this? Because that could be fun as well. Let me know. Also, please listen to my music. It's linked below in the description. Listen to my music, please. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to get my music out there in the first place. And shout out to DVM USA. They're one of my skateboarding sponsors. They make amazing clothing made here in the US. They're located in Truckee, California. All this stuff is really sturdy. Now, they didn't ask me to mention the clothing here on this channel, but like they send me clothes all the time, and I'm trying to plug them. I think a lot of you guys might like the clothes. They're very stylish. And they have, I think even more than skateboarding, they're popular in like the workwear circles because it's really sturdy stuff. Like, to give you an example, like with clothing sponsors as a skater, like I've had quite a few over the years. And typically you'll need a box of clothes like every 3 months, right? So they'll load you up with a bunch of pants and shirts and all that stuff. Now the DVM shirts tend to last me for years at a time. So I don't ask for clothes from DVM nearly as much as I did in the past. I'm also older, and when you're younger, you're just excited to get free stuff. And now I get it as I need it because I'm freaking nearly 40 years old. So, but check out DVM USA. They make awesome, awesome clothes. A lot of stripes. I'm a big fan of stripes. A lot of you alt people are probably fans of stripes. It's just something that we like. Don't ask me why or where it comes from. Maybe because prisoners used to wear them and we feel like outsiders, like prisoners. But I'm not going to get into an analysis of why alt culture people gravitate towards striped clothing. That's something for more seasoned video essays to do on a channel that's not supposed to be talking about samplers and music. But thank you for watching. Check out DVM. Check out my music. Let me know about those questions, and peace.